Today's video comes from a griever's perspective. Today is a cautionary and an informative tale about supporting someone who you love to their last breath at home. Because grief is so difficult to talk about, home hospice is often created from places of fear, from desperation, and as a true dedication to loving someone. Watch to the end where I share what I think I did well, supporting my mom to her death at home, and what I also did poorly. This video is dedicated to Home Care and Hospice Month in November. Please join our Grievolution community by subscribing to the channel and turning on the notification bell so that you'll know each time that I post a new video exploring all things grief. Our goal in this community is to do grief differently. I am Jo McRogers, a registered social worker who has supported grief for decades. While the support that I offer is based on education, research, the wisdom of all of my wise clients, studies, and readings, my greatest teachers have been my own grief experiences. My mother's death was 7 weeks from diagnosis to funeral home. Offering to care for somebody at home until their death is such a vital, sacred opportunity to support someone to their death at home if this is what they wish for. And while it is honorable to support someone to their death at home, it needs to be assessed in terms of the emotionality, the practicality, and does it honor the love of all involved? Home hospice needs to be carefully arranged in order to allow the grief to flow instead of creating further grief. Home hospice can blur the role between loving family member and caregiver and health provider. It is as if the decision needs a cost-benefit risk analysis for both the supporters and the individual nearing the end of their life. Sometimes emotions and time don't allow for this to be an accurate evaluation. Studies in the United States have shown that approximately 80% of Americans would prefer to die at home. Despite this, 60% of Americans die in acute care settings, 20% die in nursing homes, and only the other 20% die at home, which is the largely preferred wish. So, what to consider when thinking about supporting a death at home? Under optimal circumstances, if you are considering a home death for yourself or for a member of your family, there are some basic elements that are really important that will help you make this a successful death, a good death for everyone involved. Both the individual and the family need to support the idea of a home death as a starting point. It is important to ensure that this is an informed decision, not a reaction to fear or to obligation or to perceptions. It's important that more than one family caregiver is available. It's essential that skilled medical support is available at any hour of the day. 24/7 is what's involved in caring for someone at home. Next, practical considerations. So, does the family have the resources to support a home death? And by that I mean, for example, is there wheelchair access into the home? Is there a bedroom on the main floor? Can that bedroom support the size of a hospital bed? Can caregivers who are family members afford time off work, or are they eligible for caregiver benefits? Physicality. Is the individual able to perform physical tasks such as transferring to a toilet or holding a spoon to feed themselves? Or does the loving family member need to be able to help with the physical tasks? If the loved one who is passing having physical symptoms like pain or trouble breathing, has the caregiver been provided the needed resources and information to be able to make the patient comfortable? This is a large measure of success for people caring for loved ones at home. Are they comfortable? Is there enough room in the home for medical equipment that's going to help providing this care and comfort? Are the family and the individual comfortable with health care providers coming and going into the home to help with medical and caregiving? Home care workers, palliative care nurses or doctors, respiratory techs, may be some of the people who visit the home, and people often have strong feelings about having strangers in their home at such an intimate time. Next, we need to talk about lines of communication. Ongoing frequent communication is essential in caring for a family member at home. A shared understanding of each family member's role and responsibilities are going to help to avoid feelings such as confusion or anger or resentment. Everyone on the loving home family team is going to experience this role differently. So if possible, please talk about how you are feeling throughout this experience, as you will all each likely experience many different emotions at many different times. Do this together in terms of touching base frequently and or seeking outside therapy to support you individually and as a team. Open, honest communication with the healthcare team is also essential. Keep in mind that as healthcare providers, they will be looking for cues from you and the individual who's passing about how much information they are ready to receive or not receive. You may have to let your healthcare team know when or if you are ready to have more detailed information. Keeping these lines of communication can support other issues that are going to arise secondarily. For instance, the time and attention required by the individual at home may cause stress within the broader family. Spouses or children, siblings, may feel that they are unfairly forgotten during this whole time. Number one, invitation to guilt. As the individual's health declines, they may become delirious or aggressive or agitated or restless. Managing someone who is restless at home can be extremely challenging. Family may then end up feeling that they are supporting a stranger who is dying in the home because their personality or their communication style are not the same. Emotions and impulses can change dramatically, both on the individual and on the family carers. Number two, invitation to guilt. Not knowing when or how the death will arrive requires patience and endurance. It's like being asked to run a marathon, but blindfolded. A third, invitation to guilt. When will this end? Keeping the patient comfortable near the end of life can require ongoing vigilance, observation skills, and sometimes difficult clinical medical decisions. A large invitation to guilt. Did I choose the right path? Did I make the right decision? I hear this frequently in my therapy sessions. So as you can see, grief invites guilt in on a silver platter. Providing a death in the home can offer so many invitations to guilt. Please know that this can be mitigated with substantial support and education. But know that it is also not likely to be eliminated because the nature of grief invites in guilt. Also, know that no matter what you choose or how you support the circumstances, they can rapidly and dramatically change. Grief reminds us, very rudely, that we have so little in control. So, while deciding upon supporting a home death, know that the very best medicine that you can offer anybody includes peace and dignity and solace. This is important for both the individual coming to the end of their life and for the grieving family. So it is clear that home hospice needs certain elements in order to be successful. Access to physical support as a start, access to emotional support to back that up, access to knowledge about end-of-life needs and stages, and access to grief support. Anyone who has cared for the dying at home knows that the physical often dominates the emotional. In these places, in these circumstances, grief can feel like a luxury. Have you experienced supporting a home death? Please share in the comments below what wisdom or what challenges you can offer so that we can all grow together and know how to make home death hospice experiences safer. So in supporting my mother to her last breath from lung cancer, what I and my sisters did well. Well, my mother was able to stay at home. She was surrounded by love and concern. She was surrounded by comfort, and she was surrounded by Neil Diamond music. My sisters and I are 2 social workers and an intensive care unit nurse. So we were able to meet her physical transition very well. We were supported by medications, by equipment, by respiratory technicians, and an old-fashioned GP who still made house calls. And I am forever grateful for those people in our life and in her death. However, while this loss is decades ago, I still carry the residue emotionally of the process. Where I went wrong was in the communication. Shock and sadness overtook my ability to grieve in the current tense. Shock and sadness, and then very, very quickly becoming a mother, overtook my ability to grieve. So there it sat, my grief, compounding interest. As a family, we had no guiding principles. We kind of made it up as we flew through it. If you want to learn more, see my last video to understand a bit of what I'm referring to. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Was it the right thing to do? Absolutely. Would I do it differently? Absolutely. This life experience has informed my heart, my knowledge, and my work, so today I share it with you. I have come to refer to caring for my mom to die at home as a beautiful burden. However, as a grief therapist, I now know of many deaths at home that have been peaceful, have been present, have been sad, and have been non-traumatizing. It can be very different than my experience. So if you're making these decisions, please seek the support and the knowledge to make the home death of your loved person a beautiful, sad experience. There is such a thing as a good death. If you are currently supporting a home hospice of someone you love, if you have experienced the death of someone at home in the past, or if you're at the point of decision making about caring for someone at home until their death, I offer you kind thoughts, kind words, and a kind heart in this process. And I will see you next time. Thank you again for watching today.